So I'd like to bring to the stage Arthur Lee from Queenstown Community Housing Trust. I've had the pleasure of looking at some of the projects that Arthur's working on, and he's going to talk us through some of that today. So thanks for being here, Arthur.
Thank you, Matthew. Can everyone hear me okay? Awesome. Thank you, Matthew, for the intro, and thanks for having me here today. It's always great to be here in person and feel the passion from all of you who try to make our housing better. So please give yourself applause as well. Today, I'm honored to be invited here to talk about the cost and the benefits of Homestar version 5 based on our latest certified project. But before I jump into it, just a very brief intro about ourselves. So Queenstown Community Housing Trust is an affordable housing provider. Our vision is to transform the lives of committed people in our district by providing them affordable and good quality homes to call home. It certainly has transformed my life because I moved into my first home about exactly 4 years ago this week. And that's a housing trust project, and that allows me to stay in Queenstown, contribute, and now last year I joined the mission to help more people. So let's begin. As we know, cost is a very tricky topic, so let's start with something simple. What we are looking at here are two different cakes made from the same ingredients, cost the same, but follow different recipe and generate completely different outcome. I have personally experienced two scenarios in real life, so I'm sure I'm not exaggerating. So imagine you are a restaurant owner and you want to create some good dishes. You hire a chef, not a kitchen hand. It's obvious, right? But in real life, for whatever reason, in the context of design and building, I have seen over the years so many homeowners and developers, they rather pay for fancy building materials, but hire the cheapest and lower quality professionals to design and handle their project. This is not a winning recipe in my opinion, because all we want is to complement good design with the right material that doesn't necessarily cost much more, rather than compensate a not so good design with excessive specification, right? So here comes to the second part of my cake analogy. That is, we need a good cake before having icing on a cake. So I hope this logic does make sense to a degree. Now let's look at some real examples. So here are two homes. They are both 2 bedrooms, come with the exact same functionality, and I even counted, obviously it's not on the screen, but I even counted the storage space are identical as well. So one is slightly smaller, simpler, the other is larger and more complex. So of course, the second house is gonna cost a lot more to build. What a surprise. And anyone in the room want to make a guess? If we were to upgrade those houses to a higher standard, say Homestar 7, which one is gonna cost more? No one to make a guess? Yeah, quite a few of you have pointed your finger to the right-hand house. It's because whenever we want to add more materials and system onto a complex design, what we are creating is actually a compounding factor. We are not talking about a simple addition anymore. And any architect or designer in the room want to tell me which one do you think will receive more RFI from the council? Yeah, probably the right-hand house as well, right? Which again, costs time and money. So as an architectural designer, I'm by no means suggesting all mainstream housing or affordable housing should be 4 corners, although a lot of time that might be a good starting point. But what I really mean is let's celebrate simple, modest, but robust homes that provide real value for people's everyday life. And by designing smarter and simpler, I believe we can free up just enough resource to achieve exactly what we want, including Homestar and all the value behind it. So now, these are our latest 4 homes. 2 of them have just completed, and the other are being completed as we speak. They are Homestar 6 certified under version 5. And so just a brief explanation about what Homestar version 5 really means. That means all of them are comprehensively energy modeled to make sure an absolute energy efficiency benchmark is met. So to put this simply, our building codes require a bunch of ingredients and quite possibly quite a few missing ingredients as well, ventilation included. And Homestar, on the other hand, is a complete recipe to deliver a better, healthier living outcome for our people. So for the purpose of this presentation, I have done some additional analysis to look at not only our SBL version, which went beyond Homestar 6 for various good reasons, but also how we can achieve just Homestar 6 in Queenstown, Auckland, Christchurch, and Wellington climates. So now, let me explain this as simply and logically as possible. Every item you see on the table that's not highlighted are either aligned with H1 or the industry default. I want to explain the industry default because, for example, when I talked to GJ last month, I was told they only use Max Raft, fully insulated slab and foundation system by default nowadays because such system has become so cost-effective and make project management easier. They wouldn't do that any other way. Any item that's highlighted in orange are the actual upgrades we pay additional for to achieve a better outcome, and the green items are either completely cost neutral or can be done cost neutrally if we do that correctly. So our SBL version, we did go for the 140 framing, we trialed the APL central fixed window, we pay for NVHR because according to our own study in-house back in 2018, we figured out that's the only way to ensure a healthy, drier, better homes for our people. Lastly, when I energy modeled this building, which I didn't design, I also figured out we need a hot water heat pump to bring the final energy down. All of that ended up costing us 5% more. And this number came directly from our QS and construction manager. They help us itemize every single upgrade we pay for. So it's present and accurate. I want to explain a little bit about the story behind it. The first one is we did create some magic with energy model, which is required by Homestar. So energy model help us to pick the right low-E glazing. It's about the fit for purpose instead of just going with the default. And that ended up didn't cost us any money. But the outcome is, in this case, we get 15% more solar gain for free throughout the years. And that's the power of energy modeling. It's about making every dollar works harder and no second number that's more important when it comes to energy modeling. And second part of it is I did collaborate and improve together with our supply chain. So imagine if I specify optimize framing and go to tender, what will happen is the builder will look at that, okay, let's optimize it, but 10% more. And the frame and truss manufacturer will probably add another 10% more. But instead, what I did was I called the frame and truss factory and say, this is what I want to do, this is why I want to do it, it's good, and how can we achieve it, and how can we tell a better story together. And by the way, optimizing framing means using less timber, so is there a saving? Yes, let's secure that. And then I had a meeting with the builder saying, now we have all the duets and unnecessary studs removed, is it gonna make installing insulation easier or harder? Easier. So of course there's a saving, let's secure that. So by doing this basic and genuine level of collaboration, we get rewarded by doing the right thing rather than the other way around. So now let's look at other scenarios. So if we just want to achieve Homestar, we don't need a central fix, we don't need NVHR, and that will bring the cost uplift down to 2 to 3%. If we copy and paste the exact house to Christchurch and Wellington, the thermal envelope itself is pretty much the same, but we don't need a hot water heat pump anymore. In Auckland, we don't need 140 framing. However, with the hotter climate, unless we resize the window, which is probably a good thing, it might trigger the use of a more expensive low-E glazing. So I do hope this gives you an overview of the requirement for both specification and the relative cost uplift you might expect when doing a Homestar project under the current version. So of course, I don't want to just look at costs without thinking about the benefits. So in this particular case, going for Homestar 6 means a 40% relative energy saving compared to as if we build the same house to the legal minimum standard. So the way we look at this is, shall we be building 19 good quality homes where people thrive, or 20 homes that many households we just know couldn't even afford to heat properly? For us, the answer is very simple. So this is my last slide. I just want to acknowledge that where we are today didn't happen overnight. Our CE, Julie Scout, together with the board, they have been making effort in the past 13 years. So what we are looking at here is the final energy trend from our developments in the past 13 years. As you can see here at the top, we have the OH1 with no heat pump, no real efficient heating. The orange arrow is the new H1 with heat pump, some efficient heating. The blue arrow is the Queenstown Housing Trust benchmark, which is constantly improving. And lastly, we have the version 5 Homestar 6 benchmark. We are not completely there yet, but certainly we are not stopping there. And although we have come a long way, and it definitely looks like we have come a long way, but when I quantified the annual improvement on an annual basis, we only improve 3% year on year. Yes, you hear me right. It's exactly that 3% that has taken us that far. So this is pretty much me, but let's quickly summarize my presentation. If you can only take away 3 things. The first thing will be, let's create smarter, simpler designs to act as a strong foundation for any better quality homes. Secondly, we need to collaborate and improve together with our supply chain. And by doing this, it doesn't have to be hard. It stick with the basic, and we can get rewarded by doing the right thing. And lastly, let's embrace gradual success. If we set a goal, it doesn't have to happen tomorrow. But if we set the right direction and make consistent effort, it's only the matter of when we will get there. And obviously, if you don't want to spend 13 years and rather to spend, say, 3 years, then let's connect. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Arthur, wonderful. Can I ask a question briefly?
Yeah.
How would you do this at a much larger scale if you had the opportunity? If someone said to you, right, let's do this, but, 10,000 in Christchurch or Wellington or whatever.
Sure, and I'll just go straight back to my cake analogy. As long as we find the right recipe and set the right direction and make consistent effort, it's only the matter of when we'll get there, regardless of the scale.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
No worries.
Arthur, great stuff.